Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Got a brand new deck guide for you guys today. Today, we're just going to be going back to old school Man Spider because, you know what? I don't know about you guys, but my entire meta right now is Gambit Horseman of Death. And you know what Gambit can't hit? Black Panthers, Man Spiders, and Taskmasters. And yes, this deck is actually doing incredibly well for me. We are also seeing a lot of the, Shadowlands Daredevil with that, not Scar package, but it's like a mid-range kind of tech package. It's got Cosmic Ghost Rider, it's got Stardust in there, using Wilson Fisk as well. And that matchup honestly feels a little bit worse than even just, of course, the Gambit, because the Gambit's really just trying to destroy here side of the board. And they're not running Shadow King. I'm not seeing Shadow King pretty much anywhere. I have ran into a couple Shang-Chi gamers. A couple. So, like, the losses that you guys have seen either from Shang-Chi or I just didn't get my draws. But more often than not, I've just actually been winning a lot of games with this list. It is more so kind of a 2-cube kind of list, so you're snapping into a lot of your combo conditions because you really want to maximize that. Because if you're playing down a Man Spider and it's bigger than anything your opponent is going to play, they're just going to leave. So, just kind of keep that in mind while you are playing this. Snap aggressively when you have your combo, because more people are not running Shang-Chi. They're not running Shadow King. Of course, there is the Stardust deck that with, the Gambit Horseman, not Gambit Horseman of Death, but Shadowlands Daredevil. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're trying to do, like Fastball Special, Animated Infusion, or trying to Zola things. But you could just use Taskmaster and Absman stuff instead and also get some really good benefits. It also felt pretty good with Krakoa as a hot location, but I don't think you even just need Krakoa as the hot location to do well with this list. I think you just are throwing out so much power that your opponents can keep up. Because I said, there's no Shadow King, there's no Shang-Chi. So this feels really, really well. It's pretty much a standard list. Turn 1, you're playing Agony. Turn 2, you're playing Penny Parker. Turn 3, you're playing your Spider onto Penny Parker. And then on turn 4, you are either playing your Man Spider or you're playing your Black Panther in a perfect world. Or maybe you are setting up a Symbiote Spider-Man for a Black Panther, or Symbiote Spider-Man even for a Man Spider, because when it merges with Man Spider, it is another merge, kind of like how, Agony works in that sense. So, just kind of keep that in mind, the way those kind of work together. Zola to be able to spread that power out. If you are going to Zola Man Spider, if you didn't know, don't play a card before you play Zola, or Man Spider will merge with that card, and then the other Man Spider eats the other Man Spider. So, like, just Zola it without playing another card, before you do the Zola. Just kind of keep that in mind so you can maintain those Man Spiders on the board. And then if you don't have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is, either Absman, Taskmaster, or Zola. Kind of keeping that in mind. If you do have Zola, you then can set up on turn 6 into that good old Animated Infusion and that Fastball Special, because if you do merge Man Spider with the Spider from, Penny Parker as well. Man Spider merging with Penny Parker is like Penny Parker merging, so you have that extra energy going into turn 5, which is why you're able to do some of those other setup plays. Is like the really cool thought process there. And that Symbiote Spider-Man line I'm talking about, Symbiote Spider-Man has to be on the board prior and then merge again with your Man Spider. It's not like when Man Spider merges with Symbiote Spider-Man, it automatically does the double. So just keep that in mind. I think I probably said it wrong at first, but that's the right way to say it. But yeah, this deck felt really, really solid. You have Luna Snow for extra energy if you don't hit the Penny Parker line, which is the preferred one, so your opponents don't have extra energy. But this list was really, really solid. Like I said, we went on a really good tear with this list, and we're now in the 90s. And it was a smooth sailing through the second half of the 80s to the 90s now. We'll probably play it on stream tonight. If you guys want to check out stream, I will be doing a season pass giveaway tonight on stream. And we'll be talking about the OTA and stuff. Hopefully, see what happens with the OTA. Maybe if it changes things up, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? We'll see kind of, what happens then. But yeah, we're going to jump right into some gameplay, and it is going to be live cut commentary for a gameplay today where I'm talking through all of my plays for you guys to kind of understand my thought process and what I'm doing. If you guys do enjoy the video, definitely feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell to be alerted when we do post videos. I'm starting to post as daily as possible. Life kind of gets in the way, but I'm super excited to kind of, be back in the groove of things. And yeah, we're going to jump right into some gameplay, and I'll see you guys at the end of the video. Start with Absman, Symbiote Spider-Man, Luna Snow. We do have Krakoa. We have Fastball. In a perfect world, we could do a Luna Snow into a Krakoa, a Man Spider, or even Black Panther, which would be cool. Miniaturized Labs is not ideal for us. All right. So we're going to go Luna into something. Wolverine. Okay. Get a random card. Get Prodigy. Prodigy is interesting. I'm going to go Luna. We have Penny. I don't want to necessarily clog my hand. I want to draw cards. So we're doing Luna, the Agony, Deadpool. That's going to be pretty big as well. So I go Luna into Taskmaster's not really what we wanted. I'll go Symbiote Spider-Man here. Into the Killmonger. Early Killmonger is not ideal. That is 3 destroys now for Death. Death cost 5. I do get Black Panther, though. I do get Black Panther, which is really nice. No extra energy for them. Okay, let's see. I think we are going to just go Black Panther left. They go Deadpool, Moira, and Venom. That's pretty big. Pretty big. I think I'm just gonna Symbiote Spider-Man into Taskmaster. I don't think they may think I'm just gonna Zola here. So if that's the case, I just do this play. Yeah. We got Luna. We got Hulkbuster. We have Animation Infusion. We can set some cool things up here. If we can go like Luna into Black Panther into Fastball, that could be really cool on the raft here. We do have Wakanda as well. Good location for us. We do also have Zola. So we could just go Luna, Panther, Zola, which also is really good. They Agony. I do get Krakoa. I can go Luna. They go Carter. I go Luna. Into, I do get Fastball. So I could go Man Spider into like Panther Zola, or I could just go Panther. Let's go Panther into Fastball Animation Infusion. Go Panther. They Prodigy Carter into Nightcrawler. It's a good play. I'm going to go Fastball, Animation Infusion. And then we will go Zola right. And this should be pretty good for us here. I don't think Animation Infusion adds the new powered card onto like the Krakoa there. Like I don't think that's how that works. But this ain't half bad. I mean, we also could just do Man Spider things, but I think we're going Fastball into Animation Infusion right into Zola, which is a lot of power that I don't think they can really contest with. Is my general idea there. Because I think this is just the Wolverine deck. I don't think this is a Cosmo deck. Maverick, Heimdall, and Grandmaster. Okay. They move that over. Fastball hits Nightcrawler into Animation Infusion, which gives me a big Panther. And it is actually... Okay. And then I will go Zola into Agony. And I don't think they're going to be able to contest 80 power. Is the thought process there. If I get hit with a Cosmo, I get hit with a Cosmo. But they don't have Cosmo. Alright, so we have Penny. We do got Agony. We got Black Panther. I don't really need 4 energy. So it's just going to be like Agony into Penny. We do get Grand Prix though. So I'll go Penny. Go Penny. If we get hit with a Cosmo, that's what like really hurts. But there's a world where I also could do. We get Krakoa. All right, we draw a Man Spider. Not when we want to draw a Man Spider. If I get hit with a Cosmo here, I get hit with a Cosmo. No Cosmo, but they played it that way. Why did they play it that way? Okay. Interesting. Get Abs Man. I'm going to go just Black Panther middle. They Electra the Agony into Cosmo. Is that Cosmo middle? Is it the Cosmo or Stomper? Sam? Not too worried about a Sam, actually. Get Black Panther. I have the extra energy. So the play is either 50-50 Zola, which is pretty good, or Absman. We done a Prio. I think... I think we go... Let's go Zola. We're going to 50-50 Zola. And then the goal would be to... Which that's just Professor X, right, I think. Which is not what we really wanted to see. Negasonic. Negasonic isn't half bad, actually. And we hit the high roll we wanted to hit. Alright, so we have Prio. I can go Absman Luna, which is probably the play. It would be Absman Luna. So this moves here. Batroc moves anyways. But this gets destroyed. I don't need to do Animation Diffusion. It's just this. Yeah. We couldn't snap. I mean, we could technically snap on a 50-50. But us not having Prio, I felt like they would potentially Cosmo me if I had snapped that. All right. We got Luna. We got Panther. We got Animation Infusion. We got New York. And we got Zola. So we could literally go Luna, Panther, Zola. Simple as that. King Eitri. Fisk Tower. So Daredevil Shadows lands deck. So it's going to be Luna, Panther, and then Zola. Like it's simply just going to be that. Luna, Panther, Zola. A Black Swan. Mindscape. We do get Penny. I'm not going to get the Animation Infusion, which is a bit rough here. Yo, Luna. They Ascani Sun. I'm going to go Panther. I could go Penny Agony to have 6, but I think we're just going to go Panther. They Mother Ascani. I have Panther into Zola, which is pretty good. And then it just boils down to what I draw. I think we're just snapping into Panther Zola. I know they're going to have a bunch of energy to do stuff too, but I like what we can potentially get with our top end. Is my thought process here, which is why we're snapping also into Mindscape. because this seems also just pretty good. Of course, they are getting my Taskmaster, Penny, and Hulkbuster. I get like an Animate Infusion. I'm not destroying anything of theirs to get that going on. So that seems pretty decent. They Lizard. A Scawny Sun gives them Agent 13. And then they Martyr. They Techno Organic there instead of onto the Martyr. They don't get the Ice Cube. They Black Swan for that. King Eitri. They Techno again, but I'm getting their Techno. Okay. And then I have Man Spider. So we should just win here. They have to move. If they move both of these over, let's say they can add 13 left. Because this, that. Yeah. All right, we got Luna. We got Symbiote Spider-Man. Fastball special. We're looking pretty good so far. Red Hulk is not going to be great for us. But if we can get like a Penny or something, that wouldn't be half bad. We do get Man Spider, so we're going to go Luna Man Spider. Okay. I go Luna right, Man Spider middle. Or I'll go Luna left, Man Spider middle, so I also have some power. So Luna. They go Warlock. I'm snapping into Man Spider. It's going to be Man Spider into Hulkbuster Symbiote Spider-Man is the idea. They Wasp. Majestic Wing Beat. They're going to be floating this next turn. I also could just go... If I go... Absman. I have to go Absman, or I could go... If I go Hulkbuster, Symbiote Spider-Man, I know they're floating. Hulkbuster, it doubles again. Into Symbiote Spider-Man, they Warlock. And then I can go a double here. Into Zola, but it's just going to be fastball. And Animate Infusion. Yeah. Yeah, pretty big Man Spider coming down. All right. Agony in the Wakanda lane is really good for us. While we have Agony, Luna, Man Spider into Absman. If I get any sort of destroy or like Zola kind of card, this is going to be a snap. We get Pet Mansion. That's fine. We get Panther. Because it's simply just going to be Luna into Man Spider. We get Squirrels. I'm snapping into Luna, Man Spider. They do have Shadow King, something to note. But it's Luna. They have Jocasta. I go Man Spider. That merges. I can get hit by a Shadow King left, but I think they're going to be setting up some other things here. I'm going to go Absman, Fastball, which also takes Prio away from me potentially here. Or maybe back onto me, but they're setting up more for Prodigy kind of things here, I believe. So that's why we're doing it this way. There's the Prodigy. There's a Scotty Sun. I'm going to go Absman into Fastball. And then they can go ahead and do what they want to do. I win that lane. Yep. Even though we didn't have Animated Infusion, they gotta assume we have Animated Infusion, so we look pretty solid there. All right, we have Agony and Penny into Manspider. This seems pretty good. It seems pretty good start. If I get any like of our other like key cards here, this is probably gonna be a snap. Agony moving. They do Kitty. Oh yeah, I'm definitely like not super worried right now. Tolau also is incredible for us. We have Luna. I just need like one more card maybe. Like one more kinda. And it hits Panspider. That's really good. We get Krakoa there. All right, so this is, yeah. Yup. Snap into Manspider going down to Krakoa. That's a snap here. I wouldn't be surprised if they leave because I have Penny into Agony. This is like really, really good for me. Let's see. What all do we get going on here? They Zombie Witch. Wow, and Manspider gets another buff there. Okay, we go Manspider. And then I could do fastball things. Fastball Symbiote Spider-Man. Yeah, big Manspider with the extra power. It's pretty nice. Like Kitty. You know what's also going to be really rude, which I'm probably going to do here, is I'm going to hit Manspider's fastball onto the Horde. So, and they're not going to really like that. Not going to be a huge fan of that one, I don't think. We also have Panther. I'm going to go... Actually, we're going to go Taskmaster. We're going to Taskmaster the Manspider. And then we're going to go Panther Fastball. They have Shang-Chi. They have Shang-Chi. So I think it's this into... They Zombie. Into Demon. Into Kitty. That's a bunch of big power there. And they should just leave here. Or... Yeah, I think it's just Black Panther here. Yeah. But we have Agony, Penny, Krakoa on the left. We do have Luna. Probably going to end up doing... They turn one, snap me. Okay. Interesting. I don't hate my starting hand, so I'm okay staying in this. They go Agony as well. Is this about to be just Man Spider on Man Spider? It might. I want the card draw, so I'm actually going to go ahead and play Penny out early. We get Absman. They Deadpool. Oh. Okay. Now, I don't hate this now. Because we could snap this back, actually. Because this is like a really good start, I think. Los Diablos. I'm going to snap into being able to get Man Spider on the left now with that extra power. That's my general idea on why we are snapping this back. And being able to buff the next card we play there afterwards. I mean, it's a 50-50 to hit Krakoa or to hit the Abbey. Play Deathlock, so I'm also going to Prio going into this. Not giving them any extra energy is nice. That's 1 destroy. It hits Krakoa, okay. They play whatchamacallit. They're going to end up playing Deadpool or something middle. I go Man Spider. Man Spider left. Deadpool X23. Now they have extra energy. That is 3 destroys now. So death cost 5. And X23 goes middle. Death cost 5. Wow, I do also have Absman into Hulkbuster. So we're going to merge again. Into Hulkbuster, so a bunch of huge power. And then it'll be Fastball, Animate, Fusion, and it'll be... There's Venom, so that's 3 more destroys, so death now costs 2. X23 goes to the right. If they're running Shang-Chi, I will lose to a Shang-Chi. That is fine. I will lose to Shang-Chi. I also could make it so their Null does not gain any power at all. And that would be Taskmaster. It would just simply be Taskmaster somewhere. And if I do Taskmaster somewhere, that also just saves a bunch of stuff. So it's just Taskmaster right is much safer than having to play around the Null. So it's just Taskmaster right. And they just leave, yeah. All right. We have Penny Parker. We got Luna Snow. We got Symbiote Spider-Man. Not a bad starting point. We got Taskmaster as well. Sauron. Okay. I wonder if this is the Cosmic Ghost Rider version, or if this is, you know, the, Stardust version, you know, just something to note there. In general, is that is something that people are playing. So we gotta kind of keep that in mind. They go Lizard. I go Penny Parker. I'm not worried about Cosmo at all because of with Sauron. So now I will go Penny. Onslaught Citadel exists. We do have Man Spider. I'm gonna snap into being able to get Man Spider onto Krakoa. Yeah, they're out. We got Fastball Zola Taskmaster to start here. We do have Man Spider, which is also really solid if we can get some of our other combo pieces, because we can set a bunch of things up. We have Krakoa. What do we draw? We draw Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster is not the worst. If I don't draw like a Luna, we're probably just going to go Hulkbuster. Probably. This is just kind of a feels bad. Penny wouldn't be the worst. Agony wouldn't be the worst. But this is not really what we want to work with here. They go Mirage. Mirage gets my Hulkbuster. Okay. Milano gives me Rocket. I do get Agony. We'll do this. Because I also don't necessarily know. They Gambit. Okay, so like this is genuinely we want to just do man spider things for sure here. Murder World. I'm just gonna end up going man spider middle more than likely. Or no, I could just go man spider left. I would have to play card middle. It would be rocket middle into man spider left Zola. Okay, so they Bastion. Rocket gives 1 power. I go Panther. Man Spider would be 5 or 4 or 2 plus 6 be 14. I think it is just Panther Zola. Nico Gambit. And to Hulkbuster. And this is, do they have Shang-Chi? Do they have Shang-Chi? If they have Shang-Chi, we lose. If they don't have Shang-Chi, we win. So, simple as that. They can't Gambit and Shang-Chi. But I'll lose to a Shang-Chi, you know? So if you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, then Panther just wins me the game. So they might just retreat here. Because they don't have a way to necessarily deal with Panther. Even if they Shadow... Well, if they Shadow King Gambit. Gambit 50-50, of course. Gambit into Gambit. And we won a 50-50. Sweet. Hits nothing. Hits nothing. And hits nothing. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did stick around the very end, like I said earlier, definitely feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're new. Let me know down below. You know, what are you guys playing? Are you guys playing big power heavy stuff? I know I've talked about like every video how kind of annoying and tedious Gambit Horseman of Death is, which is kind of sad because, you know, that was the card I did the video on, and, you know, it's kind of running crazy rampant in the meta just because the big 3 kind of got hit. So, you know, we'll see what happens going on in the future with the meta. Is Gambit going to still be around? I mean, we kind of have more mid-range kind of style cards being played this season as like the new cards. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that all works out and operates. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys have been playing Man Spider, if you guys enjoy Man Spider, or do you think Man Spider is worse than some of these other, you know, meta tyrants that we have going on. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been real. God bless, and Tucker out.